Chapter 5. I woke up early on that Saturday morning of my 13th birthday, and lay still and silent for a long, long while, just waiting. Nothing felt too different yet. I couldn't see through the ceiling or turn on my lamp with a blink or a wink. I couldn't float up off my mattress or make my pillows disappear. I sighed and drummed my fingers against the pattern of my sheets. Nothing was happening. At least, not yet. I decided it was safe to get up. Maybe my savvy would arrive at the church with my birthday party. Bad timing and all. I rolled out of bed, glancing at Gypsy, where she lay in a nest of stuffed animals and pillows. Gypsy always surrounded herself with fluff and fuzz. She liked her toddler world to be soft and smooth, with no hard edges or rough seams. Once asleep, Gypsy was as difficult to wake as a slumbering sloth. There wasn't a creak from the floorboards or a groan from the bed springs, but the moment my bare feet touched the floor and I stood to untwist my nightgown, my sister sat up and rubbed her eyes, staring at me from her own small bed. "Go back to sleep, Gypsy," I said. "No, no, no," said Gypsy, repeating one of her most favorite word, rubbing her eyes stubbornly. "It's too early to be awake. Close your eyes. It's off to dreamland for you again." I crossed the room to nestle her back under her blankets, then left our bedroom quickly before Gypsy could make a fuss. Pink light filtered through the curtains of the house, filling the hallway between the bedrooms with a faint blush of morning. I was careful not to make too much noise, as I stole past the other rooms and slipped downstairs, not wanting to wake anybody else up just yet, wanting more time to myself to see what I could see, feel what I could feel. In the kitchen, I fixed myself a bowl of cereal, and took it with me into the next room, to sit cross-legged on the sofa while I ate. No sooner had I gotten myself settled, balancing my bowl on my knee just right, than I heard a thump. Thump, thump, thump. I sat perfectly still, straining my eyes out across the dim room. The morning light shifted orange from pink, casting a pastel glow across Mama's stacks of paintings, and glinted off the glass aquarium of Samson's dead pet turtle. Thump, thump. I set my bowl down on the floor with a splish-splash of milk sloshing up over the side, and followed the thumping sound until my nose was nearly pressed up against the aquarium. There, in the tank, Samson's turtle was not dead, so much as living, trying its unsuccessful best to find a way up the side of the glass. So that turtle had been hibernating after all, I thought to myself. I knew that Samson would be happy as his moody, broody self ever got. That is, but why had the turtle picked that peculiar persnickety moment to wake up, there before dawn, on the morning of my most important birthday, with me in my nightgown balancing frosted cereal on my knee? Watching the turtle, I tapped on the glass, thinking about the turtle and remembering the unusual way Gypsy had woken up as I had stepped out of bed. A shaky and suspicious feeling started to gnaw down deep in my bones, feeling that stuck with me the rest of the morning and continued to grow like smoke from a grass fire. At 2 o'clock, we all piled into Miss Rosemary's van to head to the church in Hebron. Fish and I helped Grandpa into the front seat, reaching in to help him with the seatbelt and to make sure the car radio was turned off. Ever since Grandma Dollop died, listening to the radio always made Grandpa sad. With Grandpa settled in, Fish went back inside, just long enough to find Samson and separate him from his now active, not dead pet. Me and Miss Rosemary got Gypsy's car seat wrestled into the back as the boys climbed in. I was wearing my new special occasion dress, the one Papa had picked out for me all by himself, at the big department store in Salina. "I thought my little girl deserved something pretty and new to wear for her special birthday," he said, the night he handed me a big white box held closed by a thin, round strand of stretchy gold elastic. The dress inside the box was pale yellow, with a high sashed waist, and a full skirt that was sewn with deep pockets. Double rows of white rickrack zigzagged its way around the hem and around the seams of the short-cap sleeves. But the very best part of the whole dress was the big purple flower made from soft silk ribbons that was pinned up high on the shoulder like a corsage. "I don't know much about dresses," he admitted, "but I wasn't about to give up on that account. I didn't leave that store until I was sure I had found just the right one." I pictured my papa wandering through the store looking for my perfect dress, and smiled. Even with no savvy and no hair on his head, Our Papa was special. He was good and sweet and had wild black eyebrows that twisted like dancing beetle legs, and a faded tattoo from his Navy days, a long-haired mermaid, twisting around an anchor on his forearm, just above his heavy silver wristwatch. Papa kept Miss Mermaid hidden under crisp, white shirt sleeves. When he went to work in the cement and plaster office in Selena during the week. When he came home to us at night, Papa had his sleeves rolled up and Miss Mermaid had her smile on. We didn't care that Papa had no savvy. He didn't care that the rest of us did. Or would. The night he gave me the dress was the last time Papa had come home to us from Selena. The last time we'd all been together. "Do you like it then?" Papa had asked, rubbing his knuckles against his jaw as he watched me pull the dress from the box. "I love it, Papa," I'd said, dancing my dress across the living room twice before throwing my arms around him. "Thank you." I knew I had the best Papa in the world, and I knew my dress was a party dress to anyone who knew anything, even if my actual party wasn't turning out the way I'd planned. Climbing up into the van, I could see Miss Rosemary eyeing the big purple flower pinned on my shoulder. I guessed she was wishing that she had a dress just like mine, instead of her straight and shapeless wear. All buckled into the van, we bumped and jolted up the rutted road toward the highway, on our way to the church for my uninvited party. I pretended not to notice the way Fish or Grandpa kept looking at me like I was some kind of dynamite, ready to blow at the next jerk or jog of the van. I still hadn't felt any particular gut-wrenching thing grip me good and firm the way it had for my brothers. I knew that my savvy was turning out to be something a bit quieter, a bit less earth-shaking, yet something that would be far better for helping Papa. When Mama had called that morning to wish me a happy birthday, I'd asked her, "Did you kiss him, Mama?" "Yes, Mibs, I kissed Papa," she answered softly. "Did he wake up?" Mama exhaled, a long, slow breath, like she was singing the last note of a lullaby, and my heart almost broke with the total sadness of it. "No, honey," she said at last. "Papa didn't wake up. Not yet, at least. The doctors say... Well, they say we'll have to wait and see." At that moment, I knew exactly what I had to do. I just hadn't figured out how I was going to do it. When we reached the church, it didn't take me long to realize that God listened better to Miss Rosemary than he did to me. The parking lot was full, and there were kids everywhere. This wasn't just a little party. This was a full-on foo-for-all. Sorry. If I didn't know better, I'd say Samson disappeared before the van even reached full stop. For as soon as we got out, he was gone. He'd turn up later, I knew, after spending the afternoon in some dusty hidey hole, under the organ or with the mops in the storage closet. Grandpa Bomba just chewed his cheek and shook his head, mumbling to himself as Miss Rosemary led him and Gypsy toward the church, passing a school bus painted as pink as the bottoms of Gypsy's feet and advertising the Heartland Bible Supply Company. Fish grabbed me by the arm as soon as Miss Rosemary had her back turned and steered me away from the pink bus and away from the church. "You can't do this thing here, Mibs," Fish said, with a gust of wind that whipped at me like a scolding. "This is no place for you to be today. You know it's not safe." "It'll be all right," I assured him. "I already know what my savvy is, Fish, and it's not going to hurt anyone. In fact..." "You know?" Fish cut me off before I could tell him more. He tightened his grip on my arm. My brother's funk and squall of wind made me doubt myself for a second, but no, I was sure. "Yes, Fish, I know. Just settle your storming." Fish was looking at me expectantly. I was about to explain that I had to be the one to go wake Papa. It was just that simple. My savvy was waking things up. Just like Samson's turtle. I knew that a savvy wasn't something you can make happen for wanting, but I had proof that the means of waking up Papa were there and wrapped up in me, ready to burst out like rocket sparks, or Fish's wind and rain. If I could just find my way to Selena. I was about to tell my brother all of this, but at that moment, Will Jr. found us. "Happy birthday, Mibs," he said, smiling. "Aren't you coming in to the party?" "I'm coming," I said to Will, jerking my arm free from Fish's tight grip. Fish let me go, but he gave me a look like the sharp end of a stick, and punctuated his meaning with a smattering of abrupt, uncontrolled raindrops from the clouds overhead. I gave Fish a look right back. Then I smiled my own smile at Will Jr. and let him pull me into the church, straight into the catastrophe that was my 13th birthday party. Okay, just real quick, I'm wondering if any of you have ever heard this word before. Where is it? Yeah, it was like, yeah, that's it. Foo for all. I'm sorry that I stumbled over that, but I have never heard that word before. So, let me know in the comments if you've ever heard the word foo for all, or if I even pronounced it correctly. Thank you guys. See ya.